That's the word of the day. Elevate. What's goody? Goody. I'm your host, Jackie Robinson Jr. Welcome to Because of You podcast, coming to you from McDougal Prison in Connecticut. In this episode, I want to pause from reading in my book, and I just want to talk to you, have a heart-to-heart. In my first episode, I explained how I've been incarcerated since I was 18 for 21 years now. And throughout those 21 years, I've had to learn how to discipline myself. It was one of the biggest things that I had to learn how to do because I had a very unhealthy life. Very unhealthy life. Became a leader of a gang in Ohio prison. At 18, I was still looking for guidance. I was looking for direction. And I found that guidance and that family unity in the gang. I was in and out of gangs since I was young, very young, growing up in the streets of Akron, Ohio. But I can say that one of the good things that I took away from that gang was the structure and learning to be disciplined and loyalty. Loyalty was another huge principle that I learned, very valuable. But knowing who to give our loyalty to is of the utmost importance. But as far as discipline goes, I started applying that wisdom to my life. Like today, to this day, I get up 5:30 a.m. most mornings, and I start my morning routine. I go into meditation, deep breathing meditation. I pray, go into deep prayer. After 30 minutes, I'm on the headphones on my podcast. I'm listening to podcast episodes, motivational podcast, spiritual. And I go into my Bible study. So by 6:30, 6:45, I've accomplished a lot. I'm on a high note, energetic. I'm spiritual in tune. I'm aware of my surroundings, my environment. That's very important for me. And I found that we have to form healthy early morning routines to be highly effective in our lives. When I say healthy early morning routines, I'm talking about spiritual, mentally, physically. You have to be well-rounded. Can't just have a morning workout routine and think that's going to suffice for your mental health or your financial health even. It's not going to cut it. One doesn't bleed over into the next. So the podcast episode this morning was from Jim Rohn, ROHN, who spoke on time management achievement. And he said, I love it. I love what he said. He said, don't mistake movement for achievement. Man, don't mistake movement for achievement. Man, so often we look at people around us, or just, if you're in a grocery store or wherever, out at an event, you look at people and they look important and, they on the move, they on their phone, they maybe even got business attire on, suit, tie, whatever, pantsuit for a woman or whatever. Look at them and they immediately give off a vibe as though their lives are effective. But just because they're busy, they're on the run, they're on the hustle, they're on the move, doesn't mean that they're achieving or accomplishing their goals. If they even have goals set. Like Jim Rohn said, a lot of people are in a figure 8. They're moving around, but they aren't achieving much, if anything at all. And so I had to program myself to ask the question. Like throughout the years, I've learned it's not even something that I'm conscious of. I don't even ask myself consciously this, but it's in me. It's just like I immediately look at situations and I know whether or not it's going to be beneficial for me to engage or to interact with others. And the question is, what am I accomplishing from this decision I'm about to make? What am I accomplishing from this decision I'm about to make? So you have to ask yourself, is the decision you're about to make going to help you achieve a short-term or long-term goal? For example, I don't sit down at card tables or game tables here in prison, and I haven't done so in years, probably 10 plus years. I don't play sports in groups. Well, I'll shoot around from time to time on a basketball court by myself, and one other person might come up and shoot around with me, but I limit my interactions with guys as far as group settings go. And the reason being is because pride is at its highest level in prison during these activities. I can't be effective or add value to others within these type of settings because no one's looking for advice or wisdom. Everybody is in a competitive state. They know everything. And that's not what I'm looking for. And if I sit at that table, if I interact with guys on a basketball court, in prideful and challenging ways, it's going to hurt my approach later on when there's someone from that table I want to pour into, or someone on the basketball court who I want to pull aside, at a later time and speak words of encouragement or advice. Because if people see you as everybody else, if my speech is like everyone else is in here in prison when they're cussing and yelling and screaming and just being competitive and disrespecting each other, there's no separation. If I'm acting like them, then it's easy to get punched in with them, like from the outside looking in. What did Jay-Z say? This is a Jay-Z song. I just remember where he said, "Don't argue with a fool because from a distance you can't spot who's who." That's real. That's real. So I'm very aware, very conscious of the separation that I need to make in my speech, in my behavior. And it's okay. So what I was saying was, before I was rudely interrupted and cut off by security. You have to be aware of your speech patterns and your behavior patterns, on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm very aware of the vibe that I'm giving off, and to make sure that I have that separation from others. Not because I'm better than anyone, but because I want to be better than I was 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Everything is supposed to be, you're supposed to, like Drake said, elevate. Everything is supposed to be on an increase. You're supposed to be leveling up in life in all aspects. And as I'm leveling up, I want to bring people up with me. So much value in human beings, and a lot of people need to be aware of the value that they have. Identity issues, so many identity issues and pride issues, and so things that I've addressed in my life that I've transformed, fixed, overcome, and I just want to help others to do the same so they can be the best version of themselves and in here, out there, because that's what life is about. That's how I define success. Because it's not just financial. To me, it's whose lives, the people's lives that I'm impacting in a positive way. Who am I bringing up? Who am I helping to overcome their problems? The problems that I battled with 15, 20 years ago, I don't have those same issues. I have new issues, different issues that I'm working to overcome. But those things I've already overcome, I can help others who are in that stage right now. You don't have a testimony until you're actually saved from those problems, those tests, to actually overcome them. So we have to be aware of our actions, of our speech. And remember that people won't always remember what you say to them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So ask yourself, what is your lifestyle? Like, are you modeling an attractive lifestyle? You want folks to be drawn to your way of living and being. You want people to look at you and desire what you have. Inmate said some years ago to me, this was like 6 or 7 years ago when I was working in the kitchen in a different prison. And this inmate who I became close to, real good guy, he looked at me one day. He said, I want what you have, but I'm afraid to ask God for it because I don't want to go through what you went through to get it. Oh man, that was one of the most powerful things anybody has ever said to me. It was one of the most realest things. He said, I want what you have, but I'm afraid to ask God for it because I don't want to go through what you went through. Because I don't want him to put me through what you went through. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the gist. And a lot of us, that's what our lives are about. Like, we're not willing to put in that work. We want everything to be handed to us. You know, he didn't want to go through what I went through to get it. Everybody's journey is unique. Everybody has a different journey. But trust and believe we will have to go through some stuff. You know, if we want a better life, if we want to be better people, you know, we're just going to have to. We're going to have to be broken in different stages. We're going to have to sacrifice. We're going to have to give up things. And that's so much of what life is about, sacrifice, even relationships. You know, when you get in a relationship with another person.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, I get it. I've been talking too much according to this Securious app, so we'll pick back up sometime in the near future, and just want to be aware, and elevate. Peace.